Brian, talk a little bit about what smart electrical panels are, what we mean by that, and what are some of the key benefits of smart electrical panels as compared to a traditional one.
Yeah, in Massachusetts, we'd say they're wicked smart, right? So we typically think of multiple generations of antiquated, your standard gray box that was put into your basement or garage here in New England or the Northeast. And that could have been to land, turn fuses and then eventually breakers, and now, arc fault breakers, and so on and so forth. So the evolution of a home's main service panel hasn't changed much in 150, 60 years. And smart panels have basically taken that same box, put it in a nicer package, right? So it looks nicer. It can be installed in finished environments. It can be recessed in the wall. So aesthetically, yes, it looks nicer. But at the end of the day, it's the same basic bones. It has a bus bar to land breakers, but now that it has a computer inside of it, and it can leverage a lot more functionality into your circuits in your home. So not only are you able to monitor every single circuit in your home and see what that circuit's doing, you obviously are able to label it. You know what it is. The panel itself learns. Now they're even integrating AI into it, and it connects to other smart home peripherals as well. But you're able at a basic level to monitor every circuit in your home and control every circuit in your home. And then there's different sizes of them and different functionality and different brands. We use the Span Smart Panel, which is one of the innovators and originators of a full main service smart panel, and it allows folks to leverage that to understand what's going on in their home and then to make decisions based on that.
Okay, and how does a smart panel help a homeowner to improve energy efficiency and get potential cost savings?
I think one of the biggest things is just understanding, right? So you folks don't really like, just a lot of folks don't even look at their electric bill, right? They just get auto paid, and then they one day they look at it and say, "Oh my gosh, like we're spending this much a month or in a year on electricity. Like how? Why? Like we're never home, or the kids are gone, or whatever the case may be, right? But then they look at it, and they don't have any way to quantify it. Like where is that coming from? Why is it so much? And Span allows you to do that. And then once you have more information, you're able to make decisions like, do we need to have the heat at X temperature or the AC at X temperature? And then we just leave with it on that temperature. Maybe we can start to control and schedule our heating and cooling a little bit. Or finding out that an appliance, maybe a refrigerator that's end of life, it just continues to cycle and cycle and cycle, and it's on the way, it's going to die. So it might help you make decisions on antiquated or aging out appliances, and it's time for a new one, and that will save you some money.
Right, it's using twice as much electricity now as it should be, as a brand new one would be. So we can save a lot of money by just replacing the refrigerator.
Absolutely, yeah. And then what's cool about the Span Smart Panel is that you're able to control those circuits too. So, for instance, if you're not home and at work, or if you're away as well, and you say, "Oh my gosh, I left the heat on 72, and we're gone," so you're able to either you can turn that off, or you can have control remotely from your circuits as well. Other things you might have, well pumps. You might have left the pool pump on. You're like, we're not even there, or it doesn't need to be on now, and things like that. So those are ways you can have some more control. But I think the learning, for the homeowner, as well as the equipment itself, learning and understanding, like different frequencies, things plugged into the wall that run out of frequency. It might say, "Is that a fan?" And they're like, "Yeah, I got a fan plugged in. I left the dehumidifier on. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to shut that off." So there's opportunities, for the learning to allow you to make decisions that would help you save money that way as well.
Okay, and then how does a smart panel integrate with a solar energy system on your house?
Installing a smart panel is basically what we would call a panel swap, meaning we're going to remove your gray box or your current main service panel and So you disconnect all the wires from your breakers and the panel and remove the panel, then install the span panel and re-land all those same wires and breakers, and then organize it how the customer sees fit, and what makes sense, and makes sure the system is balanced. But and then it's commissioning it, so you have to be a certified installer to in order to have the ability to install one and to commission it, which means now we're setting that up with the app, and then setting some different parameters. So if you have for solar, for instance, the solar system is going to land in the main service panel and be what's called a backfed breaker, meaning it's going to flow back through the panel and then out to the grid if you're overproducing. If you have a battery or EV chargers, we also want to land all those things in the main service panel, which gives you the monitoring and the relationships of all that energy system. So now the monitoring for the span is taking the information from solar, the information from the grid, the information from your home, the information from your battery system, your EV charging, and putting it all into one place, and you can see that relationship across the board. So that the typical installation is really a panel swap, and then the commissioning and training and working with the homeowner to make sure they understand what they have and what they're looking at, and then how they can make those decisions. If you have a battery system, you're able to also have what's called automatic load shedding. So we can prioritize circuits on the app from must to have, nice to have, and non-essential. So in an outage, it's automatically going to drop the non-essential and nice to have circuits and going to give you, your must haves. So this, heat, your refrigerator, a cooking option, as well as pretty much all your lights and outlets. And then you can then see how much battery life you have left in the span app based on what's going on right now, and make informed decisions about any other loads or circuits you want to bring on. And you can bring those nice to haves up on the app, and it turns them on and brings them back up. And then you might see that lifespan of the battery changes, and you say, okay, maybe we'll lose that one or lose this one. And then automatically drops the non-essential, which would be things that you don't need in an outage. Pool pump, your jacuzzi, your AC, especially in the winter time, or even in the summer. A lot of times we want to take the AC off. Electric dryers, any high load options that are going to drain the battery quicker. We will normally just remove those on the non-essential automated load shedding as well.
So in the event of a power outage and you have a battery backup system, you're able to make some informed decisions, like you said. Okay, the power company says that we're going to be back up in a couple of hours, so we've got plenty of capacity. We can keep the TV on and whatever. Or yeah, geez, the power company thinks we're not going to be back up until tomorrow morning, so we got to save everything we can, shut off these lights, shut off the TV, and just only use the essentials or something like that. So you have that ability to make those informed decisions when you have the information.
Real-time information. So based on exactly what you're doing now, what's on, then you see what your remaining battery life and capacity is, and you make those decisions. That's why I always joke around with folks, like in an outage, like you can't cook a turkey, and you can't sit in front of your fridge and with the fridge doors open and decide what I want to eat and drink, right? So you got to be, probably be more of an energy miser with your heating. Have a plan when you go in the fridge, and try to keep everything as low as possible to expand that capacity. But the span panel is going to give you exact numbers on what that looks like. And then again, like you said, make those decisions to expand the capacity. Or if you find out the utility says it's going to be on an hour, just, I guess, let it rip and just carry on the way you want to be, and that you got it.
Can a smart panel be integrated with other types of smart home devices or systems as well?
Yes, which is really cool, and that's kind of ever expanding. Another cool feature about smart panels and span in particular is that it kind of grows, right? So they add features and benefits over time through over the air updates. And so it works with Alexa and Google Home. If it doesn't work with Apple Home now, that's probably coming soon. Like a lot of those smart home platforms, it integrates with. And then of course the the span panel works with the Mitsubishi heat pumps with their Sumo Cloud, and there's an interaction there that you're able to leverage, some control and energy savings. Again, same similar type of stuff for load control and not not using as much or shutting down a battery or using too much draw on your service as it is, especially in an outage, things like that. So it's continuing to grow, but there's a